the proprietor of James Okorie Technical Institute. Welcome to this our YouTube training channel. In this training, we want to learn how we can be able to control the water in the tank using a flow switch. That's the title of the training. If you are joining us newly, the title is there already. You can go to our description right up and see all the training that we have for you and everything we have in package for you. They are awesome. We discuss them later. But in this training, we want to learn how you can be able to control the water in your tank using a flow switch. So what are you controlling? Discover that before you can be able to pump water in your tank, you are using either a pumping machine, which is normal electrical motor, or maybe you are using a submersible pump, which is our normal, what is it called, the small water pump. Alright? So in this case, you can automate this machine in such a way that when there is no water in the tank, it will automatically pump water to your tank, even without you being around. Okay? And when the water gets to a particular limit, a set level, maybe in filling up, discover that the pumping machine will stop, thereby not allowing the water to do what? To overflow. So controlling of water in the tank using flow switch automation automatically is what we are training now. So we have to look into the flow switch first. When you look at this, you see that these are flow switches. Alright? So we have this and we have this. The same flow switch. This one is yellow and blue, this one is red, but they are the same flow switch. So when you look at the flow switch, you see that their connections are the same. Their principle of operation are the same way we use them. So in this case, if you want to use a flow switch, what you have to do first is to do what? Identify the cables. But a flow switch is just a device, a material like this, whereby you place this one inside the tank. Alright? You can, if where your machine or your pumping machine is, if it is very far, you can extend this cable so that you can get to that place. What you have to do is what? You can do two things. It's either you pierce the cover of the tank from top and then put a water seal, then force this wire down inside the tank. Then in this case, you allow the flow switch to hang this way. After you must have set it to a particular level, in the sense that when there is no water when the water gets to that level, it will do what? It will trigger the pumping machine. And when there is water will be carrying the flow switch up like this, because this is a flow switch. When you carry it to a particular level, maybe to where you set it, what will happen is that it will have to do what? Up the pumping machine. So how are you connecting this? The flow switch has to float, you know that it's a flow switch, so you have to put it inside the tank in order to allow the water to carry it. When the water carries it, it will be controlling it. A flow switch have a ball inside that controls the switching. Alright, you can hear the ball, so you control the switching. So let's see how we can be able to connect this flow switch. First of all, when you look at this flow switch, see that it has 3 cables. It has 3 cables. When you look at this one also, you see that it has 3 cables also. So meaning that their connections are the same. The cables here are brown. This is brown. You might not see it clearly because we are using red light. This is blue, and this is what? Black. This is blue. Sorry. This is brown. This is black, and this is brown, black, and blue. And here also we have the black, the red, and the green. So in this case, you must first of all identify these cables in order to allow you to automate the whole thing. Remember, what you are trying to do is to use this flow switch in order to control the water in the tank in such a way that even if you are not around, if there is no water in the tank, the flow switch have to switch on the pumping machine. And when the water gets to a particular level where you have set it a maximum level, it will do what? It will off the pumping machine, thereby not allowing the water to overflow. So in this case, let's look into the cables of flow switch. The cables of flow switch. So if you are joining us now, please go to the description box in our YouTube channel. There you will see all our platforms, all our packages, how you can be able to join many of our training groups, because we run training. James Okorie Technical Institute is a school that runs both online training and physical training. And when you go to the description box, you see everything that concerns our training, the links to join our training groups. And if you want to buy any of our practical books, the links are there for you to buy any of our practical books. We'll talk on that later. So in this case, when we are looking at the flow switch, we discover that we have 3 cables and the three cables are as follows. Number one, we have a cable we call the common cable. So you must identify the common cable of the flow switch. Number two, we have the cable we call the low cable, low wire. So you must identify the low cable of the flow switch. Number three, we have the one we have called the high cable. Okay, let me use wire so that you will not mistake it. So this is high wire and this is low wire and this is high wire. All right. So we have the common wire and we have the low wire and we have the high wire. So looking at this close, you see that we have these wires here, the three wires. One must be high wire, one must be low wire, and one must be common wire. Why do you identify these wires? The reason why you must identify these wires is because you need only two in order to control this pumping machine. What do you need? You need only the low wire and the common wire. Simple. Since what you want to do is when there is no water in the tank, alright? When there is no water in the tank, the flow switch should on the pumping machine. So what you have to do? What you have to do is you use the low wire and the common wire. So how do you identify this wire? Number one, you must have to use your what we call the meter. This is the normal multimeter. So you set it at continuity. When you set it at continuity, this is continuity here, in such a way that when you test the wires, any wire that reads in common with the low and the high wire is the common. Alright? So first of all, what you have to do is you check the three wires. When you check the three wires, you then start testing. First, you set your multimeter at continuity, then you test the blue and the brown. When you test the blue and the brown, you check if they read either at this high, because this is the high position of this flow switch, and this is the low position of this flow switch. We call it the low and the high position. Why? Because at this point in time, when there is no water in the tank, the flow switch must be like this. It must come down like this. Why? Because there is no water in the tank to carry it up, so it must face this way. This is what we call low position of flow switch. And when there is water in the tank, you see that the water will carry the flow switch to this position. Alright, when you carry it to this position, you see that it is high now. At this point in time, it must off the pumping machine. But when there is no water in the tank, with the force of gravity, this flow switch must come this way because we are just putting the flow switch inside through the cover which is up. Alright? So in this case, you discover that what you have to do is you discover the common wire and you discover the low wire. So when you want to discover this wire, you set your multimeter at continuity. This multimeter now, when you set it at continuity, when you read the both, you see that it will make a sound. Alright. You see that it will make a sound, and when you make a sound, just like this, you see that it's reading in continuity. So what do you have to do when you read in continuity? What you have to do is do what? You check the wire that reads in continuity with which one. First of all, this wire, we have the red wire. We have the blue wire. The black wire. Flow switch, alright? The three wires. So what you have to do, first of all, you start reading. When you set your multimeter at continuity, you start reading. You see that when you read this reads in continuity, you mark it that they are reading. Alright? If this blue wire reads with this at high position, this is high position. You then set it at low position like this and read again. If these two wires read in continuity at low position, but at high they didn't read, discover that they are in continuity when the flow switch is facing down. Then you check again, you clean here, you check again. You place multimeter, one probe at black and one probe at blue, and check their continuity in either the position. You check it when the flow switch is facing this way, this is low position, and you check it when the flow switch is facing this way, which is high position. So when you check it, discover that at this point in time, it must read in continuity either at high or at low. Alright? So when it reads that way, then you check. which of the cable is reading in continuity when you set it at high with one, and in continuity when you set it at low with the other one. Alright? So, but commonly, the flow switches we have here commonly discover that the blacks are always the common terminals, the common cables. Alright? Including this one, this red, and this yellow, this one, discover that the blacks are always the common. Okay, so what you have to do is you check that black. When you identify the black, you check the cable that when it's facing this way. The cable that reads in continuity, the two cables that read in continuity when the flow switch is facing this way. That's what we call the common and the low cable. So what you have to do is you check the flow switch this way, then you start checking the terminals. You put one probe or multimeter at one wire, put the other one at the other wire. The terminals which are reading in continuity when the flow switch is facing downward this way, this is low position. That's the terminal that you have to use. Then when you face it this way, the two terminals must not read in continuity. I repeat. The terminals which must read in continuity when the flow switch is facing downward this way is what we call the common and the low wire. But when you put the same probe at the same two cables and face the flow switch up this way, they must not read in continuity. Those are the wires you need, because what is actually happening is that when there is no water in the tank, the flow switch will face this way. And since it's facing this way, the two terminals must do what? Make contact. And once they are making contact, current must flow. And once current flows, what will happen is that it will go and do what? Energize the pump. Once the pump is energized, what happens? The pumping machine will start pumping the water inside the tank. And when there is water in the tank, it's called that when the water starts going inside the tank, it will be carrying this flow switch up this way. When it's carrying up this way, it will carry to a particular point. At this particular point, that at the set level, we discover that it will function. What makes it to function? There is a ball inside that will do what? That triggers the voltage. There is a ball inside that does what? That does the contacting. There is a ball inside that does the contacting, that completes the circuit in such a way that once it's coming this way, once that ball enters here, it will do what? It will join these two terminals together. At this point in time, when the flow switch is this way, what's happened? There will not be any current that will be passing, because those terminals which this ball inside have pumped on, we then isolate, we then separate, thereby not allowing current to get to the flow switch. At that point in time, the flow switch will do what? The pumping machine will do what? The pumping machine will stop working. This is what I mean. Let's read again. Okay. Let's do it this way. If this is your pump, I'm going to teach you two ways that you can connect your flow switch. Two ways. Number one is safe and secure. Number two is just you connecting it. Maybe you just want to connect it because the second one is not advisable to use. When you watch the flow switch, you see that the cables are small. The cables, this is about 1 mm, or about, some of them are 1.5 mm, but 1 mm commonly, mostly. So that you cannot use this to power bigger pumping machine. Okay? So what you have to do is that you can use this to control a contactor in order to use contactor to power the pumping machine. Then if you want to connect it, maybe if your pumping machine is smaller or something like that and you want to use it to connect, that one it will also work. But the most safest one that you will have to do is you use this in order to control the contactor and use contactor to do what? To power your pumping machine. Let's look into the second one. Let's look into how you can be able to use this flow switch in order to do what? To power a motor. Alright? Before we can be able to look into how you can use another component which is a contactor in order to do this. So in this case, if this is your pumping machine here, my drawing is somehow. Alright, I'm just trying to draw. Alright. If this is your pumping machine, and maybe you have two cables that comes out, if it's single phase, maybe from the capacitor, and you have two cables that comes out. If this is the case, it's called that if it's your pumping machine and you have two cables this way, and you have your supply that is coming from the source, this way. You see that if you connect these two supply, this is source, our normal AC source. Let's say this is live and this is neutral. Alright? If you connect this supply direct to this pumping machine, you know that it will work perfectly. Alright? But because you want to control the pumping machine, remember that this is the pumping machine that is pumping water to a what? To your tank. Maybe this is your tank. And this is just pumping water to your tank. If you are controlling this pumping machine using closed switch, without closed switch, see that if you on this, if this is your supply, if there is supply here, so that this pumping machine will be on, thereby pumping water to your tank this way. But because you want to control it automatically, you don't want to be going here to on and off a switch. You don't want to be going and to be pumping water always. You want to just automate it and allow it to be there. What you have to do is do what? You introduce a flow switch this way at this place. You introduce a flow switch. A flow switch is just cable, just a switch. Alright? It's just a switch. It doesn't mean that you have to carry live and neutral and go and be put here. No. This is a switch. Meaning that we just have incoming and outgoing. Alright? So in this case, what you have to do is you identify the two cables, the low and the common cable. The reason why we are identifying the low and the common cable is that you want it to be in such a way that when there is no water in the tank, the flow switch must face this way. And when it faces this way, it must trigger the pump. And when the pump is energized, it must pump the water in the tank. And when there is no water, and when the water starts coming inside the tank, it will be carrying this flow switch this way. When you get to a particular level where you set it, it will stop the pumping machine. And when the pumping machine stops, there will not be any water that will be entering inside your tank. That's what you need only. So what you have to do is you introduce a flow switch here. Alright? You introduce a flow switch here. So since you have three terminals of the flow switch, you have the common, we have the low wire, we have the common wire. What you have to do is, you first of all, if this is a flow switch here, if this is a flow switch here, alright? If this is a flow switch here, and it has three wires, which is this wire, and this wire. So what you have to do is you select the common and the low wire. This is common, this is low, and this is high wire. So what you have to do is you connect this to this place and connect this to this place. At this point in time, discover that this flow switch, since it's inside this tank, alright? Since this flow switch is inside the tank, now this tank, this water in the tank now will be the one carrying the flow switch up and down. And since it's carrying it up and down, it will be the one controlling this pumping machine. And when this pumping machine is being controlled, there will not be any water in the tank, or there will be water in the tank, depending if the water goes low or the water goes high, depending on how you have set it. But in this case, discover that this is the wire of that goes to the flow switch, and this wire goes to one terminal, that's one wire of the pumping machine. Remember that this is single phase motor. Alright, I didn't do the capacitor, the capacitor might be inside, but I just brought up two wires. Okay, that's the live and neutral that have to power the pumping machine. So in this case, you have to do what? You have to look into how you can be able to use the flow switch in order to control this pump. Now when you work this way, discover that this is not that safe. Why? Because the wire here, you see that if this motor is very big, if the hot wire is very high, so that is going to affect this flow switch. Because the cable of flow switch is not that thick, it's sometimes 1 mm or 1.5 mm. So what do? You have to include a contactor. Alright? You have to include the contactor. Once you include the contactor, then you do what? You use the flow switch in order to control the coil of the contactor and use the contactor to power the pumping machine. So in this case, if you are not using the contactor, this is the way you have to connect your flow switch. Remember that this is the common wire, this is the high wire, which you are not using. You are not using the high wire because what you are trying to do is to pump water when there is no water in the tank, meaning that the flow switch will face down. But if you want to transfer water from maybe one tank to another, you can use high wire. But here we are focusing on the low wire. Alright? We are focusing on the common and the low wire. And I have told you that before you can be able to identify this cable, first of all, use your multimeter, set it at continuity. When you set it at continuity, start checking the wire which reads in continuity with another wire when the flow switch is facing down is what we call common and the low wire. Alright? So, but when the flow switch is face up, you see that the wire which reads with another wire is what we call high wire. But what we need is the two wires that read in continuity when the flow switch is facing down. When the flow switch is facing down, the two wires that read in continuity is what we mean by common and the low wire. Alright? So in this case, let's go ahead and do something. Let's go ahead and see how we can be able to use contactor in order to control the same pump. In order to control this same pump, alright? Let's just do it because I'm just rushing. My time is always 30 minutes on YouTube, but let's not rush. So in this case, if you want to do it, what do? You first of all, okay, identify the cables of the flow switch again. If this is the supply, let me use that. If this is the supply, let us first of all get to the terminals, power terminals of the contactor. If this is the supply, let's say this contactor has 3 terminals, let's say LO1, LO2, LO3. But since we are using 2 terminals out of which you just connect to maybe this point and this point, which is L1, L2, okay, let's use L1 and L3. Let's just use L1 and L3, okay? If you don't know much about contactor, all the training are on the description. Just go to our down there, you see all the links that you can use to join any of our groups, okay? All these components that I mentioned and everything, all their training videos are there for you. What you have to do is to join any of our groups, join any of our training using any of the links, okay, posted there. Just join any of the groups. You will see we have free training groups, okay, whereby you learn about contactors, about relays, about how to connect anything. We have also paid training groups whereby you learn how to automate anything, how to use your voice or maybe your mobile phone to on and off any device, no matter where you are in the world. We also have training on solar, we have training on CCTV, we have training on how you can be able to build automation panels, industrial control panels, starter panels, DOM panels, forward and reverse panels, star delta panels, how you can be able to build automatic changeover switches. All the training are done here. Just click on the description box below, you see all the links. How to join all this training. We have the various books that you can just use. And this training are practical training that we are using the normal training videos, practical training videos to teach you. And all the diagrams you need are there. Okay? Just click on it and see all the forms. Just fill out the form. Just go and fill out the form and then you join the group. Alright? We also have training that you can be able to take in order to do anything, how to get jobs, how to do. We have all the training there. Our slogan in this group, in our training institute is, you are not permitted to be unemployed. So all the training you need as an electrical engineer or technician is under the link you see. Just click on the link. We offer both online training and physical training. And I'm James Okorie, the proprietor and the founder of this group, of this institute, Great Institute, James Okorie Technical Institute. And when you watch, I see that we have a lot of our practical books available also. Go down the link, you see all the books. This one is Be a Practical Electrical Engineer, a book that can run a suite of CCTV camera, fire alarm systems, everything you need. And these books are being written with step-by-step procedures, with different kind of diagrams, powerful diagrams, well-defined and explained diagrams. This is one of the books, and this one is purely for electrical wiring. If you want to learn how to do electrical wiring, conduit wiring, surface wiring, trunking, how to do earthing, how to calculate cable, how to do anything that concerns electrical wiring. You get it in this book. This one also you learn purely automation. Okay, basics in automation, how to connect anything, how to build LED bulbs, how to be able to build produce LED bulbs. And there's a group there that you click on the link. It's a free group whereby you join and you learn how you can be able to produce LED bulbs locally. Okay, just click and join the groups and you start learning. All our training in the group has been automated in such a way that immediately you join, click on the pinned message. On top side of the group, you see all the training, and we're listening to it through here, and we're listening to it right here. So this is now a contact of us to use for this training, and we're using it to power this. So since our input goes to us, this is live and this is neutral, and this is our supply source. The output goes to where this point, which is T1, goes to one terminal of the motor, which is single phase. The other one goes to this. You see that we have powered this pump machine, but this contactor is an automatic component that controls with the help of current. So with this, it must have a coil, and the coil of contactors are always labeled A1 and A2. So this is a coil symbol of a contactor. So what we have to do now is we look for a way to pour this coil terminal of contactor in order to energize the contactor. So what we have to do is, first of all, we connect one terminal to this, remaining another terminal for this contactor to be energized. Okay, this contactor to be energized. So if this contactor is not energized, this motor can never function. But once this contactor is energized, what happens? Current from here will pass to this pumping machine to energize it. Once the pumping machine is energized, what happens? It pumps water to this tank. Remember that our flow switch must be put into this. If this is the flow switch here, okay, let's say that this is the flow switch, and this is just the cable that we are putting from this point. Remember that the flow switch cables are just sealed in such a way that water will not enter. Alright? And in this case, 3 wires comes out from this flow switch cable. The 3 wires are the common, the low wire, and the high wire. So if this one happens to be the high wire, and this one happens to be the common wire, and this one happens to be the low wire, what we need is the common and the low wire. We are not using the high wire. So this high wire, we are not using it. So in this case, what we have to do is, if you have connected this, please, for safety purpose, always use your neutral wire, okay, to control if you are connecting directly, if you are connecting the pumping machine, okay, with only flow switch without including a conductor. Always use a neutral wire at the flow switch side. So in this case, if this is the case, so meaning that we have to bring out this live wire. What I did here is just to show you that they are not connected together. This is just the bypass. Alright, in this case, you see that we are just, instead of connecting this to this point for this conductor to start working, what we have to do is we open up here and allow the flow switch to do the controlling. So what we do, we connect the common wire of the flow switch to the incoming of the supply. Then we connect the low wire of the flow switch to this point. Okay? In such a way that this flow switch now that is inside the tank will be the one to control this contactor. Alright? So when supply comes here, so that the supply will stop here. This L1 and T1 are normally open in nature. They are normally open in nature, meaning that current can never pass until the contactor coil is being energized. So in this case, remember that current must be passed through this pass through this, then come to the coil in order to complete the circuit before this one can function. Okay, if you want to get a detailed connection of flow switch, where we did the connection, where we did the practical connection, the link is there. Just join our mega training group. Just go there, go to the link below the description box, and you see our mega training group link. Just join it. There you will see how you can be able to connect the flow switch, how you can be able to do the practical connection. The practical connection, we tested it with practical, use our flow switch, the water, and everything, the electrical motor, the pumping machine, to show you how you can be able to install this. So go down the link and click on the link. Then you have to subscribe to our YouTube channel to always see our videos. Thank you very much for watching this powerful video. I remember my humble self, Engineer James Okorie, the proprietor of James Okorie Technical Institute. See you next time. Thank you. Why are you putting your hand like that?
Just start.